Happy weekend! We finally made it to Saturday, July 12th. I don't know about you, but I enjoy the weekend. I love going outdoors. But you might want to watch out for your weather in your area because we do have a lot of pop-up storms that are going to be stretching across multiple regions. Now, I dive deep into each region very specifically for the storms in this video today, okay? So let's get started. Okay, for today, I'm going to first start off with a brief overview of multiple regions, right? We have some storms kind of exploding in the afternoon across multiple regions. And then I'm going to dive a little deeper, look a little closer into each specific region because we have some in the South Central Plain, we have some in the Midwest, some in the Southeast, some in the Mid-Atlantic. I mean, these storms are just exploding out of nowhere everywhere. So some of them will be severe, so I do want you to be weather aware. Michigan, you're probably going to have our most severe ones. If you're on the eastern side near Lake Huron, you have a 2 out of 5 risk by the SPC outlook for today, this afternoon. But we're going to get a little deeper into that once we get to your region in the Midwest. First, let's just have a brief overview of what it looks like. So this is Saturday morning here. Now, Oklahoma looks like you kind of get started off for the day, right? And then as we head into the afternoon, whoop, you see those pop-ups, those just explosions of storms. Let's go back again. You see how that's just kind of Oklahoma, a little bit of Texas, and then we hit here. That's the afternoon right there. We're popping up these afternoon summer thunderstorms, and it stretches across multiple regions, right? So as we go into Sunday, it just kind of tampers off and stretches throughout. Okay, let's go into the Midwest. And once again, I said Michigan near Lake Huron. You're probably going to be our main attraction, our area we want to pay attention to the most. But let's go through these storms. So this is Saturday morning, this morning, into this afternoon. Okay, this is about 1-ish, 2-ish o'clock. So we want to keep an eye on some of these storms right here. And then some more that are going to be forming up here later on. All right, let's see. See how those form right there? This is 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, early afternoon into later on. And then we have a few more just kind of stragglers there, and they're going to be moving throughout. Now, our main concern is going to be between 1 and 4 o'clock for Michigan, okay? So stay weather aware for the afternoon. I know Saturdays are the days you want to get outside, you want to have fun, you want to be on the lake. I highly suggest keep an eye on the forecast, okay? Keep a weather radio on you. If you are out on the lake, please get those alerts. That way you know when to head in and when it's safe to go back out, okay? But here is an overview for the Midwest as we go into this afternoon. All right, now let's shift gears and let's go into the Ohio Valley, okay? So the Ohio Valley, we see a little bit of storms out there on the west that's Oklahoma there, and some of them just start to pop up here, right? So this is later on in the afternoon. This is about 4-ish, 5-ish. Middle Tennessee's getting it. A little bit of Kentucky's getting it. We see those storms up into Indiana. And then they just kind of blossom all over the place, really. They spread across into the night, right? So this is later afternoon, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Now, your area, a little bit of Alabama, Huntsville area looks like they're going to be getting some. A little bit of the southern tip of Missouri is going to be getting some. But you see these pop up and go away pretty quickly, right? So you're your typical summer afternoon thunderstorms. So these are nothing to be worried about, mainly wind, rain, and lightning, okay? Now, I can't rule out the potential for a tornado. There's never a 0% chance. We can never say for absolute certainty if there's a storm that there's a 0% chance. But I'm pretty confident that most of these storms will be mainly rain, wind, and lightning that you will have to pay attention to, okay? And now this is the Ohio Valley starting around 4-ish, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, okay? Let's shift gears over to the South Central Plains, okay? So Texas takes up a lot of this area. Oklahoma's in it a little bit. We see a little bit of Louisiana and Arkansas. We start off our morning here. We start off in Oklahoma, a little bit of Texas, okay? This is the afternoon. It kind of stays in Oklahoma for most of the day until we get really late into the afternoon. But you see all these pop-ups in Louisiana, in Texas, in Arkansas. You start to see these storms in the afternoon just start popping up just like the other ones will. Once again, these main priorities are, flooding, lightning, wind gusts up to 50, 60 miles an hour. Those are your main concerns for these storms. Can't rule out the possibility for a tornado, but I am very confident that we should not have some in most of these storms, okay? But if you see your region, this is late afternoon. This is about 2-ish, 3-ish right here, and then late afternoon is when they kind of pop up. Okay, these summer thunderstorms in the afternoon, just kind of typical. All right. Now let's go over to the Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, get a little bit of Alabama, Mississippi in there because they weren't in our other little spots. So I want to show you kind of Florida. They're getting a little bit of these storms kind of right here and right here. Those are probably going to be your most severe. That is Saturday night. Well, I say night, late afternoon. The sun's going to start going down around this time. Might be cool for some photography if you're safely in your house or your car and you are nowhere near the severe storm. Okay, you're far away. You're like, hey, that's a cool cloud way in the distance. Okay, and you're traveling to a safe distance. Maybe snag a cute picture or something cool like that. But these storms here, just like the other ones, they're just kind of popping up. This is 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Nothing, not too much of across the board, right? And then they just start blossoming as we get closer to sunset. And then once sunset hits, they kind of tamper off as well. All right. Now let's look into our last region that we're going to see a little bit of Virginia and North Carolina, Pennsylvania, things like that. So this is about 1-ish, 2-ish. All right, and we're going into early afternoon. Middle Tennessee, you look like you're getting some. I know we went over you in the Ohio Valley, but it looks like you're going to get some first, and then they're going to stretch over into North Carolina and Virginia. Kentucky, you're going to get a good bit as well. Just keep an eye out for some of these storms. These are your textbook afternoon thunderstorms. But I just wanted to go region by region, kind of give a brief overview and let everybody see, these little pop-up storms, right? They just pop up and go away. So just keep an eye out, especially on a Saturday. If you're out playing soccer, you're out on the lake, you're at the park, the splash pad, wherever you are, Saturdays are like the day to be outside and to enjoy. Just stay weather aware, especially in the afternoon times. Closer to the sunset for most areas, around 1 or 2 for the Michigan area that we need to watch out for. But mostly they're just normal afternoon thunderstorms. Okay, I know I've talked a lot about severe weather, precipitation, flash flooding, all of these things, but I know for the weekend, a lot of people care about the temperature as well. Now, your local forecasters, your local news stations will have a better grasp on exact temperatures. This is just a quick analysis of what it could be in certain areas. These numbers are not 100% accurate, so just keep that in mind as we look. But we see that most of the area is going to be in the upper 90s, some areas even reaching into the hundreds for California, Arizona, a little bit of Texas as well. Now, these areas that typically are in the hundreds, typically New Mexico and Oklahoma, the reason you're not is probably because of the cloud coverage today. The cloud coverage stops that solar radiation from reaching the surface. So you'll get a nice, breezy 80-degree weather for today. So it should be nice once those storms clear out for you to go and enjoy being outside in the summer and it not be so hot you can't enjoy it. Now let's look into tomorrow. Tomorrow, our temperatures are going to be a little warmer, but you see that some of the colder temperatures have shifted a little more eastward. That's once again because of these storms and the cloud coverage. It's going to keep those areas a little cooler. We are seeing the West Coast warmed up a little bit. Yes, California is still, Arizona is still, but these temperatures actually increased Most of the area is going to be in the upper 90s and into the hundreds as well. So just stay hydrated. Heat in the summertime, we're used to it. I get it. But it doesn't make it any less miserable when you're outside and you're sweating and doing gardening or whatever. Now let's look into Monday. Let's see what our Monday looks like for the temperatures. Most of the area gets back to our warm temperatures, upper 90s, upper 80s for the northern states as well. Now we do have a pocket right here. South Dakota gets a little warm right there. All right, and South Dakota's not used to as much in the hundreds, so be prepared if you're going to be outside on Monday. You are drinking a lot of water and you are staying hydrated and staying cool, okay? Okay, to go ahead and recap what we went over today. If you're in Oklahoma, it is probably already raining by the time you watch this video. You're starting us off today with the rain. By the afternoon, 1-ish, 2-ish o'clock, early afternoon, we'll start to see these pop-up thunderstorms across multiple regions just start forming. Now, as we go into later afternoon, more of these pop-up thunder showers. These are your typical summer afternoon thunder showers, okay? Most of these should not be too severe. They will bring heavy wind gusts, lightning, and the chance for large hail, but most of the potential for tornadoes are going to be on the minimal side. The one area that we do have to kind of pay attention to is in Michigan, in the northeast area across Lake Huron. That is the most potential for tornado genesis, the formation of tornadoes. Up in that area, you do have a 2 out of 5 slight risk for your SPC outlook for severe weather. So just stay weather aware if you're enjoying your outdoors for the weekend. I know I love to go outside on the weekends. It just feels refreshing. Just be weather aware. Keep an eye out on your local forecast. Stay hydrated, especially in the areas we highlighted today that had high temperatures, that don't typically have high temperatures. Stay hydrated, stay weather aware, and just have a wonderful weekend. So if you enjoy the content and want to stay up to date on weather for your area, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you can get updated every time we drop a new forecast video. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I'll see you next forecast.